Hey everyone. So this week we're talking about partnerships, and our assignment was to basically come up with and start a discussion on how we would pick our partnerships to team up with our extension and our programming, with the emphasis on partnerships with family, partnerships with organizations, etc. So one organization that is a huge entity in the area that I live is the Farm Bureau. Farm Bureau has been around for, forever. It seems like you can definitely look onto their national website and check that out. But they have a lot of great assets that they offer. They too stem from grassroots agricultural roots, similar to that of our land-grant universities, similar to that of Extension. And recently pairing up with them or discussing with them as far as pairing up with Extension and 4-H youth development has really been an opportunity. And so this is kind of an idea of what I would bring to the table as far as if I were to write a partnership proposal. Being that my level or my branch of Extension is primarily 4-H youth development, and with Belmont County Farm Bureau being primarily adult-based, community-based, their primary objective right now is actually to facilitate programming that would attract the younger crowd. And for myself personally, working with Belmont Extension Youth Development, it's to, I guess my primary agenda would be to introduce to the youth opportunities that they can facilitate in the future if they stick with 4-H, how they can transcend into community developers that inevitably become involved with the Farm Bureau. So when I look at a partnership, and this is just based off of what I've done in the past, I'm going to look at a few main concepts or a few main traits that I'm looking for. One, I'm obviously looking for their core values. What are they standing up for? What are they hoping to promote? What is their primary objective? If they're not matching or aren't similar in objectives, then it's hard to facilitate or bridge a gap or to find, I wouldn't say use, that's kind of a harsh term, but it's kind of like a tool belt. You want to add the tools that you're going to be able to use. And if you're not picking the right tools and you're not going to use it, it's just going to weigh your belt down, with unnecessary things. Not to say that every organization is useless in your eyes. That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point that I am trying to make, though, is when you are wanting to create a partnership, and whether that is with, and obviously I'm gearing this more towards organization of community developers and partners. So I'm talking more of businesses. I'm talking more similar clubs, organizations. I'm not talking, I'm not going to pick and choose which kids or which families to partner up with. I'm not picking favorites here. This is more so for if you're branching out to businesses. But I digress. When you're picking those, or when you're thinking about, extending your hand out to them, you want to make sure that what you're offering is similar to what they're wanting, just as much as what they're offering is similar to what you're wanting. You want it to be an equal partnership. There is no give, take kind of scenario. It's a give and take. It's the utilization of each other's efforts. So that's my view when creating a partnership. First is, what are their values? What are their objectives? What am I giving to them? And what am I gaining from them? So useful tools in a belt. The second thing is, realistically, there's going to be times when you're going to reach out to partners or possible partners, and they'll be really enthusiastic, but in the long run, it's hard to maintain contact with them, or they're always busy with other endeavors. And this is similar to what we handle every single day in Extension. If there's too much on the plate, whether or not you want to deal with the stress, or if they are willing to be completely transparent with them, and you'll want to put in your guidelines, or you want to reach out to them and have that rough discussion as far as, okay, if we form this partnership, which I want to do, this is what this will entail, and this is approximately how much time and effort you're going to have to take into it. That's how much time and effort these programs entail. You're not going to demand them that they have to, be involved with every aspect. If you've joined our club, this is what you have to do. No, it's not like that. But you never want to skew those lines as far as, when we need you, how we need you, for what length of time, the utilization of it. You want to be as truthful with them as possible. And that goes with the objectives that you lay forth in your paperwork. So, real simple, your objectives, your goals, what you want to achieve in the long run. When I write out partnership proposals, I primarily like to put one objective that goes into the reason, I have this strength, but I know that pairing up with this organization is going to make it better because of your strength. That's kind of how I like to lay things out. If I write too many objectives, that can be a give or take. There are some organizations or some community partners that look at, and the more objectives they see, the more they're like, oh yeah, this is exactly what we want. That number doesn't scare them. On the flip side, there are some community partners that we've paired up with in the past, and they only need one. They want, why do you guys need me? And, sometimes so many kind of scares a person. Like me, so many homework assignments, so many pages on the syllabus is going to cause me to lose sleep at night. Same thing, so your objectives, short, sweet, to the point, what I already have, what I'd like to achieve, what I know you got, and then you sweeten the deal. So, we're not selling cars here. So the next aspect of a partnership in my eyes is then to put the mutual agreement, what we are going to gain from one another, how we'd be able to use and facilitate progress with one another's tools and what we're applicable for. So when I wrote out that Farm Bureau partnership, I thought to myself, well, what is something that they have discussed with in the past that they would like to improve upon? Media. So more media input. So that's one of the points of interest that I put. If you partner up with us, you will have an opportunity to add in things in our media articles. So what we put on our online forum, what we put out in our newsletters. If we have a program that's going to be broadcasted, we're going to offer you the opportunity to help us so that your name gets out there. On top of that, there's a few others that I had put, program efforts that you would have the chance to come and help with, so let's say with FAIR or something of that nature, offering you the opportunity to set up your booths at the fair with your information guides and the placement of things and our willingness to help. Even with our offices, I know one area that I put is assistance from office personnel or assistance from extension personnel. It's not just, we're going to let you come to our fair and set up a booth. It is, well, if Farm Bureau has community days, one day in August or 2 days in August, that would also mean on the flip side that you could depend on our extension office if you need a table filled, that we're going to be there. It's reciprocation. So I'm going to reciprocate my what I bring to the table to benefit you as well, or benefit the community developer as well. Partnerships are beautiful. They can be fantastic. They can broaden networks. They can solidify long-term relationships. They can branch out and help the community in general. So it's not just, it's going to help me and make me look good. It's going to help my kids. Because if I have more ag-based, STEM-based entities that are bringing their knowledge and their specialties and their expertise to the table, then the kids are going to see that, there's more than one organization that, one, I can utilize in the future if I have questions. 2, I can enter in an occupational sense. 3, I can join in the long run and have more people, that share the same interest as me. So there's a lot of pluses with that. It just goes on to show you, that you have to tend to these things though as well. It's like you have to tend to your garden or else it's not going to grow. It's the same thing with any kind of partnership or any kind of relationship that you form. You can't just, shoot a paper out or shoot an email out to them, agree on something, and then let it go on the wayside. Because then they're going to see that your intentions weren't truthful as far as your end of the deal. So that is another aspect that you have to think of with partnerships, is you have to be mindful of what you're also willing to bring forth and what you're willing to expend upon. And that's why it goes right on back to making sure that when you're reaching out to these organizations or to these entities, that they have similar values or they have similar objectives, or if you're familiar with them and you work with them or you want to work with them. If you're just, reaching out to community developers in hopes to raise money and hopes to put a barn up at the fairgrounds and hopes to, but aren't willing to reciprocate because you really don't know much about them, or you really can't offer anything and you're really just wanting that. No, you want to be able to view them as a long-term entity in your program, as a long-term asset to the program, and vice versa. So that's my initial approach as far as with families, or as far as teaming up. Same thing, with your volunteers, or same thing with as Professor said, it's widening your network, and you want to make sure that your network is filled with positive reinforcement. If you don't have that positive reinforcement, then you're going to have an unsound foundation for the partnerships that you associate with your extension office or within your extension branch. So I'm excited to keep reading. Everyone is doing a really great job. I'm not a huge fan of the paperwork side of these things. I like to, speak more one-on-one with people, but I'm really getting some great ideas from all of you guys. And I look forward to checking back in the next 2 days, because that's going to finish out the week. So thank you guys so much, and let's finish strong. Thanks.